What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's videos, we are going to be jumping into some awesome fun. Starting it all off, we jump into the Fall of the House of X era with Rise of the Powers of 10 issue number 2. And before we dive into this, I just want to apologize for not having these videos out yesterday. We ran into a lot of difficulties, just some issues with mic cords and so on and so forth. But all of that has been fixed, we are ready to go, and we're gonna be dropping some heat today. But as this Krakoan era really comes to an end, we have seen that Marvel Comics, they're rushing it. I have been saying this with every single issue. Either the X titles have nothing to do with the end of Krakoa, or it has everything to do with it, but it is extremely rushed. This issue is no exception to that. Now, this is not to say that it is not a good comic. It's just rather disappointing to see everything that they have built, everything that they have done for this Krakoan era, to just hastily get to the end of it so that they can move on to whatever comes next, whether that be more Krakoa or, going back to the status quo. But this issue is a lot of fun because of Rasputin, coming to dub her Rasputin the Sentinel Buster, with Charles Xavier working to really fulfill his plan to assassinate Moira when she's a child before her powers activate. But while they do this, they have to ensure that they stay hidden from Enigma. Observing from outside of time and space, he has been looking, he has been searching, but he can't find Charles. But he will soon know exactly why. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we start off with this issue, we pick up with a little dialogue from Enigma. He is watching a young Moira in her 10th life. In 20 minutes, her X gene is going to activate, but in her 10th life, she is going to have a new plan, one that Enigma would love to see her try, but he knows that she is mistaken, that there is one more thing she can try, and Enigma will be the one to offer it. Not yet, but later on, as he continues to look throughout all of time, as he observes everything that is ongoing. He does make note of Cyclops in prison. He thinks that Jean Grey will save him, but apparently, Jean Grey is dying along with the Phoenix. As he continues to observe, he sees Shadowcat smashing through a Sentinel, X-Men fighting for a future that is already lost. He is able to see everybody except Xavier. He moves back through time. He tries to trace the steps to see where he might have gone, tracking him through the years and to the now. Exploring the ruins of the Moira engine. He had headed back to Krakoa, but this is where he lost him, and so now he goes looking. This is his new mission, to find Professor X. This is what takes us to No Place X, as close to nowhere as science can allow. We pick up with Cypher, Rasputin, and Charles. They know they must proceed to their second plan, interfere with Moira, do this before her powers activate. And Charles is telling everybody that he's gonna have a little chat with her. Only a select few people actually know that this is an assassination attempt. But what we also see is Rachel and Mother Righteous. Mother Righteous is trying to let them know that Enigma has already run, that the plan they're trying, it's not gonna work. In all of this, we get a little bit of a data page, just an understanding of where everything is currently standing. They have yet to tell us how Cypher was able to return, but what they do tell us is that he is piloting the enhanced Moira's No Place. This allows them to move around if they ever get caught, an opportunity to escape before Enigma or something else absolutely decimates them. They use Rachel Summers, Mother Righteous, apparently contained inside of an egg, but they don't tell us who this person is that assisted them. It has been redacted, but this really stops her from being able to perform any magic or anything else. Mother Righteous did create a copy of herself. This copy is the one that we saw in the White Hot Room, the one that had taken Jean Grey into the desert. It appears that Mother Righteous had been captured, and so they're using Mother Righteouses to pass messages back and forth between one another, holding them at gunpoint saying that if you don't do this, we're gonna put a bullet in you. And Rasputin is the security, in charge of all the protection of No Place. With her unique set of abilities, it allows her to maintain structural integrity to survive outside of No Place. And then of course Charles, who plans to assassinate Moira. Mother Righteous really wants to make a deal with them. She believes that with her help, they can stop Enigma. They can stop all of this from happening. But Cypher doesn't believe her. Cypher believes that she's just got some kind of trick up her sleeve, that even her body language shows signs of lying. As they discuss how they're going to handle these situations, Doug says that he really thinks they should go back in time and take Moira out when she's a baby. But they have no idea what is in fact true and what is not. Xavier continues going on talking about how he just needs to talk to her, that he needs to get all the data that he can, and then figure out what to do from there. Really, Charles has plans to put a bullet in her, not when she's in infancy, just when she's a preteen. No matter what, everything they are doing are long shots. The trip to Moira seems to be the least dangerous of all their options. In the white-hot room, we have Hope, who has a gun pointed directly at Mother Righteous. Mother Righteous is saying that Rachel's team are resurrected and ready, but it doesn't elaborate on how they were resurrected. Asking how things in the white-hot room are generally, we get a small glimpse of it, and this place is a little bit in turmoil. Jean Grey seems to be pretty wounded, stuck in some kind of trance. The truth is, it's just not going great. All because Mother Righteous tried to sacrifice the Phoenix to achieve dominionhood. Now, Enigma is still searching for Charles. He moves forward in time. He waits for the moment that Charles pops up, and that's when he sees him. Enigma learns that they grew in No Place. Something that is nearly impossible to find, but only nearly. What he sends in, these are Arachno Sentinels. He lets them fall out of space, and as they fall through the nothingness, spinning webs waiting for the slightest thump of reality. When they finally hit something, that is when the hunter-killers will converge. So what Enigma is doing is sending these giant spiders out into nothingness. He knows roughly the idea of where to drop them, but not exactly. And so he lets them fall until they do hit something. Whether it be Charles or not, he's gonna send them in. Taking us back over to Rasputin having a conversation with Charles. Rasputin is very curious on what Charles plans to do, because she knows that Charles wants to go back to kill Moira. Her big question, why keep it from Rachel? Why keep it from the others? The difference is, Rachel still believes. Charles doesn't anymore. He believes that he is doing this with a clear head, that this must be done no matter what. Charles has finally accepted that Krakoa was nothing more than a dream. Krakoa was never going to work. The place that he had in his mind, it was never real. But they saved the world no matter what. No matter what the cost, and today, that cost is Krakoa. Rasputin is still going along with this, but she doesn't trust him entirely. After how she has been manipulated by both Sinister and Mother Righteous, she will not be anybody's pawn ever again. This is when they get hit. As Cypher goes to try and move them away from here, Rasputin does what she does best. She heads into battle, with one of the Sentinels taking a heavy blast. Rasputin pulling out her sword, she begins to swing away, while she is out there cutting down Sentinels like freaking butter. Charles and Cypher have a conversation, and we learn that Cypher is in fact Mr. Sinister. He says that he wanted to eavesdrop on Rasputin and Charles having a conversation, but apparently there is something more inside of Rasputin that he doesn't want discovered, saying that he was going to eavesdrop, but that would have revealed what else he loaded into the clone. Of course, Charles yells at him to put that diamond away, to get that diamond off of your forehead, that these kind of games aren't gonna work. If Rasputin finds out that Doug is in fact Sinister, she will burn the whole place to the ground. She would never trust Charles. All of this would be absolutely destroyed. With Rasputin taking out one of the last Sentinels, we see a huge detonation. No Place begins to move. Rasputin barely holding on, And so as they get back inside, the mission is ready to go. Charles is about to walk through, letting Rasputin know to keep the door open, that Doug is on ops. This is what takes us to Moira. We pick up on Earth, the X-Men invasion. Nimrod is letting her know that their human allies are crumbling, but we see Nimrod get dropped. And as he drops, a voice comes to Moira, letting her know that in 10 years' time, they will all be part of a perfect god machine. The AI will be the only winner. This is when Moira sees in front of her Enigma writing to her that they don't win, I win. And now he wants to have a conversation. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. It's always fun to see Rasputin just giving it her all. Outside of all of time and space, she is an absolute monster. But you guys see what I'm talking about when I say that this comic, all of these comics, have been so rushed. Like, we are jumping so far ahead so quickly, passing over very important details. Still not understanding what the heck is going on with Jean Grey. After her series, we could have believed that she had been freed. But then Mother Right just captures her, tries to go to Dominion Hood. This doesn't work, and Jean Grey is still in a bad spot. Then they're talking about resurrection. Does this mean that in the White Hot Room, the Five are resurrecting people again? Like, it doesn't explain it in the slightest bit. Simply said that her team is resurrected, and they are headed out. Now, I don't mind a fast-paced comic or a fast-paced story arc, but I feel like after everything that they have been building up, they are just trying to close the door on every storyline that they have created as quickly as they possibly can. We still don't know where Cypher is. We know that this Cypher is in fact Sinister. How that's working, I have no idea. Again, another thing that is yet to be explained. It just feels like Marvel decided, you know what guys, we're gonna end the Krakoan era, we're gonna end it on this date, so all of your comics need to wrap up by this issue. And that puts the writers in a very peculiar position. How do you expect them to write good stories given such a short time period to flush out the stories that have been building for literal years? If they are forced to do that, the quality just isn't going to be as good. And if you guys haven't heard the news, all of the X titles are ending. I believe they said they are all ending by June. And it's getting completely rebooted in July. All new issue number 1, so on and so forth. Again, we still have no idea what that's going to look like. We don't know if remnants of the Krakoan era are going to be held over. We don't know if Rasputin is going to still exist. We don't know anything. There is one important thing to really pay attention to. The idea of restarting everything back to the mansion. It would be hard to do considering restarting the timeline means restarting everything. Everything going on with the Avengers, everything going on with Spider-Man, all of this stuff. Maybe there's a roundabout way to say that we're bringing the mansion back, the mansion always was, and in current 2024, the mansion is still standing. Which would mean that there's a lot of story missing for the X-Men from when the Krakoan era began, and the mansion kind of closed down, to now. That would mean that there needs a whole bunch of X-Men stories to fill in that time gap. But we're gonna see. I am not hugely ecstatic to see how this is gonna go. I want to see how it's gonna go. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that this is gonna be awesome and it's gonna be fun, and they're gonna be able to shut the door on this in the most logical and best way to tell the story. But some of these issues, the way that they're going about this, has me very hesitant that this is going to end how we want it to, or at least how we can all walk away from this and be like, the Krakoan era was fun, it was a great time, instead of saying, you know what, Krakoan era was good, but they rushed the ending and just couldn't land it. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with all the X-Men, mutant kind as a whole, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with Rise of the Powers of X. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.